Renting a 1 BHK in downtown Dubai will be around 7 to as much as 12,000 dirhams per month. So there are no personal income taxes, no property taxes, or no capital gains taxes. People can actually leave their phones and laptops and keys and wallets and they'll come back an hour later and it's still there. I wouldn't say a fair comparison because every country has different things to offer to different people.
So there's been a lot of chatter among Indians about this new golden visa introduced by UAE, although there has been no official announcement. But media reports suggest that if you pay 100,000 dirhams or roughly 23.3 lakh rupees, you will get a golden visa for lifetime. So if you don't know about this new golden visa, Mint has done a detailed video explaining every aspect of this golden visa. Today, we are trying to understand from a young entrepreneur who moved to Dubai in 2023 and understanding as to what are the different kind of expenses that one needs to take care of when they are in Dubai or Abu Dhabi or any other emirate. So let me first start by asking you, when did you move to Dubai and under what visa are you currently staying in? What is the status of your visa right now?
I moved to Dubai 2 years ago in August of 2023 on a freelance visa. And I just recently did a change of status under my own company. So I'm now employed under my own company here in Dubai. So renting a place in Dubai, depending on the location, the developer, the property type, the amenities can swing, can vary a lot. But just to give you some perspective, renting a 1 BHK in downtown Dubai will be around 7 to as much as 12,000 dirhams per month. And then on top of that, you are adding utilities, which can range anywhere from 15 to 2,000 dirhams per month as well, which includes your air conditioning, electricity, water, and Wi Fi. So we're talking about expenses somewhere between 1.6 to as much as 3.2 lakhs per month in rent, and then an additional around 40 to 50,000 up to 1 lakh per month in utilities. Now, it is possible to find more affordable housing options because there are other locations such as JVC or JLT, Al Furjan, Dera, Dubai Land, just to name a few, where you can get a 2 BHK apartment for under 5 to 6,000 dirhams per month in rent, and the utilities will be more or less the same depending on the usage. So, when you put things in perspective in terms of Dubai as a city which has affordable housing as well as some of the more luxurious and more expensive options, I can confidently say that there is something for everyone. So there is affordable housing as well as luxurious options also available. Similarly, on the Palm, if you are going to be living in a 1 BHK or 2 BHK, rents can go upwards of 4 or 5 lakhs per month. I live in Mirdif. Mirdif is a very local community. You won't find a lot of tourists in this location. So when I moved here 2 years ago, my rent was around 4,000 dirhams per month, and including utilities, it comes out to around 6,500 to 7,000 dirhams per month. So again, it's around the 1 to 1.25 lakhs per month, including utilities. Now, in Dubai, there is also the RERA rental index, where landlords cannot raise rents every year. Um, up to a certain point. So, in other words, if the current market rent is less than 10% above the current average rent that I'm paying, they cannot raise rents by more than 5%. So every year, I will only see a 5% increase in my rent as long as it is within 10% of the average rent. If it goes above that number, then the landlord can raise rents up to 10, 15 to as much as 20%, which is capped. If the current rent is below 40%, the average market rent. A family of four can expect, depending on the location, anywhere from 10 to 12,000 dirhams per month in rent. And it can be much higher depending on the location as well as the developer and the amenities and the property type they choose. Abu Dhabi would be very similar to Dubai in terms of rents. So the numbers that I mentioned earlier, I think that would be the good estimate to go about it. Sharjah is a little bit more affordable. So you can actually find cheaper properties, less than 4,000 dirhams per month for 1 or 2 BHK, depending on the location and how far into Sharjah you actually go. And since both of them are kind of neighboring to Dubai, Dubai International Airport is the hub, and Abu Dhabi has its own airport, and Sharjah also has its own airport. Main utilities you have to really consider are your electricity and your water, which is provided to you by DEWA. So DEWA is the Dubai Electricity and Water Authority. Air conditioning can vary based on the provider. So there is Emicool and there's Zener and there's a few other companies, as well as Wi-Fi, which is Du or Etisalat. So those are the main utilities that you have to really consider, and depending on your usage, the amounts will vary as well. So there are no personal income taxes, no property taxes, or no capital gains taxes. There are corporate taxes, which the UAE recently introduced in June of 2023, but there are a lot of exemptions that the UAE has also allowed for small business relief program, which exempts companies that are making less than 3 million dirhams in revenue per year, exempt from corporate taxes of 9%. And then also companies that have qualifying income that are also exempt from those corporate taxes as well. So there are two types of companies that anyone can start. There is a mainland company, which requires you to have a local Emirati national as a partner and a majority stakeholder. And then there are free zone companies, which is what I have. So there are dedicated free zones here in Dubai that you can actually start a company in. That give you 100% foreign ownership. With regards to taxes, as I mentioned earlier, there is a small business relief which exempts companies from paying taxes if their actual income is less than 370 or 360,000. Don't quote me on this, but that's the number: 360 to 370,000 dirhams per year. And then there's also the qualifying income. So I think a tax professional would be able to better assess, your viewers' specific situation. But as long as they kind of meet that criteria of qualifying income and a qualifying activity, and their income thresholds are not breached, then they wouldn't be subject to corporate taxes here in the UAE. So Dubai is working very aggressively in expanding its, public transport. They're building a lot of metro lines, a lot of metro stations. They're adding more lanes to the highways because Dubai does have a very optimistic and very bullish plans of growing its population. Now, in terms of transportation, I think it's a lot more convenient to have a car here in Dubai, as Dubai is working on expanding its public transport as of right now. But getting a driving license can be challenging because Dubai does follow a very strict procedure, and there's a lot of rules and a lot of tests that you need to pass in order to get a driving license. Now, which I think is very good because it keeps the roads extremely safe. And buying a vehicle is just going to be the price of the vehicle plus a 5% VAT, which is like a value added tax that you have to pay. And then some other expenses would be the title fees, the traffic file fees, the registration of the vehicle itself, the license plate, and then, of course, the auto insurance, which is an absolutely a must and requirement here in the UAE. That is going to be a yearly expense that you have to pay for. Let's take Toyota Camry for an example. A new Toyota Camry will cost around 25 to 26 lakhs plus the 5% VAT. If you go through the used route for a used vehicle, 3-year-old Toyota Camry will be slightly less depending on the mileage, around 19 to 20 lakhs. Now, if you are planning on, let's say, renting a vehicle, for example, a Hyundai Accent will run you around 35 to 40,000 rupees per month. Could be cheaper depending on the provider that you go with. And then you can also finance the vehicle. If you are planning on buying one, you can finance up to 80% of the value of the car depending on the bank. And the rates can be anywhere between 2.5 to as much as 4.5%. And your monthly EMI, after the 20% down payment, and the loan tenure can range anywhere from 1 to 5 years, will be around 35 to 45,000 rupees per month for the car ownership as well. There's just a lot of activities that one can do here if they decide to move. So there is a separate budget that I think everyone needs to create or at least have in order to enjoy what Dubai has to offer from a recreational standpoint. And again, it's depends on everyone's needs and what their objectives are. But I would set aside at least 1,500 to 2,000 dirhams, which is around 30 to 40,000 rupees per month of recreational activities. For a family of, let's say, 2 to 4 people, I would estimate it would cost around 1,000 to as much as 3,000 dirhams. This is again a budget where you are buying groceries and cooking at home, which also leaves you with a little bit of money for, let's say, if you want to buy organic food, or also want to spend out eating out, basically. A nice meal at a restaurant, let's say in downtown Dubai, will again cost around, I would say, 8 to 10,000 rupees. Or higher, again, depending on where you're going and how many people are involved. The biggest advantages of Dubai is actually its location. So between Emirates and Fly Dubai, both of these airlines fly to over 280 destinations worldwide. And to give you some perspective, less than Well, about 70% of those destinations are less than 8 hours away from Dubai. So that's the proximity of the location, the advantage location that Dubai has. Now, going to India is about 3, maybe 3.5 hours. When I'm going to Kolkata, it takes me about 5 hours. Mumbai takes me about 2.5 hours. Delhi takes me about 3 hours. And there are regular flights from Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, and Dubai flying every single day. And depending on the time of the year and the season, it can cost anywhere from 25 to 30,000 rupees for a round trip for one single person. And during peak season, which is the holiday season during the winter months, these numbers can go up to 40, 50,000 rupees for a round trip for one person. So I think I'm very, very happy with the decision that I made of moving to Dubai because of many reasons. Partly because Dubai is growing, so it is a very growth oriented economy which is focused on expanding its network infrastructure and welcoming more and more people who want to live and work here and support and of course invest in the UAE economy. Dubai is also very safe, so you must have seen a lot of reels and a lot of social media posts where people can actually leave their phones and laptops and keys and wallets and they'll come back an hour later and it's still there. So Dubai is extremely safe. It is extremely clean. So everything is very well maintained. And another thing that I really love about Dubai is that it's very fast. So you can actually get things done very, very quickly, whether it's getting your residency to your Emirates visa to starting a business to buying property. Everything is very streamlined. There is a process in place and it can be done very quickly. And last thing I will mention is that it's got a stable currency as well. So, the AED is actually pegged against the US dollar. So there are no currency fluctuations. That's another thing that is overlooked by a lot of people that actually move to the UAE. Apart from the fact that it's safe, clean, and fast and convenient, it's also got a very stable currency. And, the goal really for Dubai is to become a global hub for entertainment, for tourism, for travel, for financial services, real estate, and all the other things that Dubai is working towards. So there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things that India has better. It's just comes down to individual preferences. I obviously love India, and I go there almost every month. My family is in India, so there is I wouldn't say a fair comparison because every country has different things to offer to different people, and I think as individuals and businesses, we just have to judge for ourselves what is the best approach for our personal development and growth. So I do think that both countries are amazing in their own way.